What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Aaron.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Cryptocosm, where I bring you the astrological updates.
And I bring you your daily crypto news.
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 News. News. New moon. It's New Moon Tuesday. It is a new year. It is a new moon. It is the first new moon of 2018, which always happens in the sign of Capricorn. Ooh, the mountain goat.
Tell me about it.
The stern, the strict, climbing up the mountain, carefully placing one foot at a time to make sure it doesn't fall off and slip. To get to the top of the mountain, to throw the rope down to all of his friends and say, come join me. It's good air up here, friends. So this new moon is also conjuncting Venus. So once a month, right? Once a month, the moon goes around the zodiac and lines back up with the sun every single month. So we have a new moon every month. 2 weeks later, we have the full moon, right? So we have the new moon. New moons are always signs of new beginnings, new beginnings.
I can feel it.
I can feel it too. I think we're all in time for a new beginning right now. And if you're watching the Sea of Red, you're like, please, Aaron, tell us about the new beginnings. Okay, it's all good. So this new moon is conjunct Venus. Venus is our planet of wants, desires, the things that we're attracted to, who we're attracted to. It's love, and it's also money, because you can't get the things you want in this world without a little bit of the green stuff, right?
I must say, I'm quite attracted to my coins. That's for darn sure.
Or in this one, the gold, yeah. Gotta get a little bit of that gold on coins. So now where are we in all of this new energy, this new moon stuff? We have, we've got guys here trying to figure out what Lamborghini to buy on one hand, right?
Yeah, that's right. And on the other hand, you got people mortgaging their second home or selling off their second home to buy Bitcoin in at $19,000.
$19,000. And then what happened? So you remortgaged your house, $19,000, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin dropped to 13 grand. So you're out a lot of money.
That's right. I feel sorry for some of those individuals, and it's really a matter of being able to stay grounded, not risking more than you can lose, and really making some sound decisions and some safe decisions, more importantly.
Don't risk more than you can lose. That is a huge, huge thing here, and a huge aspect. All right, and tying that in with this new moon, again, we're conjuncting Venus. We have the sun represents ourself. Okay, the moon represents our emotions, and Venus is again our wants, desires. Now, it's important as the moon goes around here, as the moon goes around every single month, it controls the tides, the waves, okay, the wind. We all know that the moon controls the wind. You ask anybody in a hospital, you ask any nurse or doctor, and they'll tell you that the full moons are crazy, more babies are born, more stuff happens. We already know this. And the goal is to stay steady, all right? Capricorn is steady. Capricorn is the steadiest, one of the most grounded, if not the most grounded element in the entire zodiac. And of course, it's an earth sign, so we have the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, okay? Staying steady. And it's about not losing ourselves. So it's like, don't risk more than you can lose. Don't lose yourself in all of this either, right? So we're sitting here focused on charts and focused on what we've gained or what we've lost. And in that meantime, what are we not paying attention to? Okay, that is the biggest aspect to me that this new moon is bringing out. It's like, what have we neglected right now? Are we watching our charts and saying, sorry, Graham, I can't be over for dinner? Are we watching our charts or are so concerned about money that we're losing track of other aspects in our life that are extremely important? Because if it weren't for all those other things, the money would be completely irrelevant anyway.
Right. That's right.
And
I think it's one thing to mention is as we look at these numbers go down, I mean, some people have a few hundred, some people have a few thousand, some people have hundreds of thousands of dollars in this market. And if you were looking over your numbers over the last week, you've probably seen maybe up to even a 50% retracement in what your portfolio might look like. And you got some people, maybe they're wanting to quit their jobs, or maybe they wanted to take off new adventures, and maybe you bought a Lamborghini. I hope you did for your sake. That'd be awesome. But there's a lot of people out there that haven't. And so one of those things with these new beginnings is we really want to make sure we have a steady foundation and making some sound choices as we go here along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that is what Capricorn is all about. Capricorn is about being grounded, being steady, being the unmovable force. You know, that's what Saturn is. Saturn is the ruling planet to Capricorn, and it is the immovable force. You know, you can't mess with it. It's not happening. You can kick and scream. You can try to knock down this brick wall behind us. It is a real brick wall. It's not green screen. But you're going to hurt your fist before you hurt the wall. The wall, it doesn't matter. So
I think a couple of those things that we can really do to make those choices is we want to look at also diversification too. We want to make sure that we don't have all of our eggs in one basket. We want to be able to spread these things out along the way so that we're not taking these hits across the board. And I think some of the things that we've talked about in the last episodes is we're going to see a lot of these second, third, and fourth generation companies come out here and just take hold of the market. I mean, so much new energy and so much new money has entered the market.
Yeah.
So many new companies. Now we're going from 1,500 coins, and we could have over 5,000 coins this year. It's very, very possible, ladies and gentlemen. And I think everybody's right now taking a step back and going, why is everything going down?
Right.
Well, there's a lot to that. I mean, we have so many new opportunities. And before it was just, hey, there's a new ICO. Let's throw
money
throw
at it.
$1,000 at it and watch it take off. And you know what? For 2017, that worked.
It did.
2018 is going to be a
not gonna work.
whole different story.
right, it's like we have the gorilla here shaking the banana tree, seeing what bananas are going to fall. And it's like, well, the ones that are going to fall, it's bad fruit, okay? You don't want to eat that stuff. The only stuff that's going to stick is going to be way up in the tree. You're going to have to work hard to get it. And that's exactly what this is all about right now. We have stern, stubborn Saturn here in Capricorn. It is home sign for 2.5 more years. We just entered this ground on December 19th, okay? This is new territory that we're going into. This is the first new moon since that has happened. Yeah. So I'm like, let me retrace that thought. It is. But, so it's just like we don't get rattled. It's like try not to get rattled or being bothered what's falling to the ground or what's staying up top. It's like it's going to happen. That shake is going to happen. The intensity is going to happen. And right now we have Venus, the sun, and the moon are all being squared to Uranus right now. So we have the unmovable force is Saturn with Uranus is a force that will not be stopped. Okay, so you can see right now you have this motion this inertia that will not be stopped no matter what, meeting a brick wall that is the immovable force, something that can't be stopped, and an immovable force. What happens when these two square off? And that's exactly what's happening. So Capricorn is up here, okay, in the zodiac. If you're looking at me, Aries is over here. So we have this giant square, this new moon squaring Uranus right now, which a lot of times is like breakthroughs of these new beginnings, new beginnings and breakthroughs, the eureka moment, these ideas kind of happening. But it can also be more of that brick wall of like, oh man, and we're kind of seeing that happen over the weekend with all the red, and it's just like, oh. I just put all of this in on this to hoping that this was going to happen because I've seen these cycles and I thought I made an educated guess and the right decision. But that's all right, okay? Things will turn around. Absolutely. It will work out how it's supposed to.
Absolutely. A lot of people really... It strikes fear in a lot of people when we see all this red up and down the charts. I mean, it really, really hits home on some. Like I've said, we've seen people sell their second houses, and all of a sudden they're freaking out. And if you've done your research, if you've really kind of dug into the competition that's out there and made some good decisions, well, right now a lot of people are saying buy more. Buy more.
Absolutely.
And hold.
If you can afford it.
If you can afford it.
But yes, buy more.
Everything is on sale right now. But we also want to take a look at these new companies that are coming out. And like you said, we have these immovable force meeting this brick wall and things like that coming out. I think we're seeing radical revolutions in technologies with things like Kodak coin.
Absolutely. Kodak, it's genius. Kodak was huge. It was, in the 80s, they owned it, okay? They had the best cameras. Even when digital cameras started coming out, Kodak was there for it. They were there for The first digital camera was this weird, goofy look. Google it. I swear to God, it's the craziest thing you'll ever see. The first digital camera is this giant, massive Kodak thing that some genius figured out how to do. Crazy beyond me. But nonetheless, okay, they were pioneers in the camera world. They were pioneers in the filmmaking, their color, their films for filmmaking, not only just film for cameras. But they were the elitists, okay? Then Canon and Nikon came over in the digital realm and knocked them out of the park.
Absolutely.
And part of it, again, part of this new moon, these new beginnings, what we're seeing old things. You know, it's just like this fireplace is here, we just haven't lit it in a while. Doesn't mean it's a bad fireplace, doesn't mean a fire is not gonna light, it just means it hasn't been used in a while. So it's time to light something that that's just been sitting for a minute. You know, whether that's just, you know, old relationships with people or an old product or an old idea, it's just like, no, we're kind of bringing this back and making a new resurgence of it. Right. So Kodak is huge and it's coming back about what piracy is their whole angle, right?
That's right. I mean, just because Kodak introduced an article with blockchain and Kodak in the same paragraph, I mean, their stock skyrocketed 60%. Now over
next day.
That's right. So not only are we seeing these new, smaller, agile companies come up and swallow these companies that are first generations, but we're seeing these big, gigantic businesses now trying to keep up with the rest of them and make these moves so they can keep up. And the question is are they going to be able to do it? So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they release their products. And yeah, you're right. They are centered around the privacy and the ability to attach smart contracts to art and pictures and movies and put them on the blockchain. I mean, some of the ideas that they have with media in the blockchain are going to be revolutionary. And personally, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because it really seems like a lot better on paper than it does in action. I mean, we have the tools and the technology to be anybody that can screencast. I mean, if Comcast shows one of those new movies that are out on the theater, they could just hit the record button and record what's going on their TV. And there is technology to be able to get around some of these anti-piracy things that they're going to be pulling out. So it's going to be interesting to really see how it plays out. Mm-hmm. But on paper, I mean, they'll be able to track who has legal access to these assets and who's able to use them and not. And then, of course, legal ramifications down the line if need be. And also, we could see a lot of states are trying to legalize now smart contracts legality purposes to actually.
What does that mean, smart contracts legality purposes?
So smart contracts really hold the promise of a certain function, if you will.
Okay.
So it's to the point where it's similar to a legal agreement. It basically is programmed to do A and B. If you and I make an agreement for such an item, then that is logged into the smart contract because the smart contract is programmed this way.
Okay.
And if you debate that, then chances are you're going to be able to pull out with your money back safe and sound.
Okay.
So now these smart technology pieces are really taking hold over and automating some of the jobs that we currently have now, like lawyers. So it's going to be interesting how we're changing the market, just not in the business terms, but even in people and starting to automate these little pieces along the way. It's really...
That's pretty wild.
It is. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like I said, it's going to be a matter of enforcement, but it also could be in terms of a lock keeps an honest man honest. I mean, if you see a bike locked up on the side of the street, yeah, anybody could take bolt cutters and chop it off, and I'm out of here with a brand new Schwinn, and I'm off. But
it shouldn't be the world that we live in, right? You should be able to leave your bike. I mean, in other countries, I'll be honest, there are other countries, and we've tried it here in different states, in different college campuses where they do this like open bike thing. It doesn't work. Our country.
Well, that's because we come from Detroit.
Wow. There's some truth there, but it's true. I mean, even in Virginia, I was working in Virginia earlier this year, and they're like, yeah, we tried this campus bike thing, and people would they'd ramp them off into a stream, into a little lake, and then just.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because up and coming now is going to be the Internet of Things. And what the Internet of Things are going to be doing, and there's many coins out there related to the Internet of Things. There's IOTA, there's VeChain. There's so many that we're going to end up talking about here in the future too. I don't want to get too deep into it, but the basis of it is your refrigerators, your alarm clocks, your smartphones. Everything's got the chip in it.
Everything.
And basically,
every electronic device, basically, we're gonna have them in our brains. They're gonna have a new
I'm going to
baby
sign up
that's
for
gonna
that one. I'm just going to sign up for the chip and be done with it. Give me the mark of the beast so we can move on. But everything's going to have a chip.
I'm gonna stick to my analog. I'm not doing it.
Johnny Mnemonic. Downloading. Hang on. Please hold. Okay. But everything's going to have a chip, and it's really going to unlock a new economy. So like these bikes and things like that. If you sign out on a bike and it's on your app, well, that app is probably going to be linked to your bank account. So go ahead.
Like I know it was
Steal
you,
the
Derek.
bike. Take the
Your
bike.
glue eater. You
Guess
were the
what?
one.
You just you just paid $2,000 for that bicycle. You probably would have paid $500 for it in the store. But that's really how it's going to work.
That's exciting, actually.
The ramifications are going to outweigh the rate at which you're going to be able to steal it.
So it's gonna force people to be honest.
It pretty much is. It's not going to be worth it anymore. And that's really how hacking went down. And the whole blockchain in the beginning was they made it to the point where it's not worth it. All the resources, all the time, all the effort, all the people, everything that you would need to hack the blockchain. Could you do it? Maybe. But is it even going to be worth it by the time you're done with it? It's really not. And I think that's another great part of this revolution that we're having and why we're going to see so many great jumps in terms of research and technology,
safety and
community
security
and economy. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely insane.
I agree. I mean, I've worked in the film industry for over a decade, okay? Talking about this with Kodak specifically, Kodak, they've been out of the filming game for a minute, okay? In all honesty, they have been. Once, Arri Alexa and the Reds came out, there's a handful of actual filmmakers like Christopher Nolan who, they actually prefer to shoot on film. There's just not that many left, okay? Once this piracy, people started downloading movies every single day, as a person that works in the industry, my rates suffered. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It was not. It is what it is.
It was me.
Yeah, it was you.
And it was probably
And it was probably a
lot.
lot of you. Yeah. But no, in all honesty, like you don't necessarily think about that. You're just hitting download and you're thinking, oh, it's coming out of Time Warner, if it's coming out of this. But the union contracts just started lowering and lowering, and everything got lower. Our days were shortened. I mean, the Piracy Act, I'm not kidding, like hit a huge toll on the people that worked in the industry, not just the big guys up top. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if this is going to salvage anything, Kodak doing this, but nonetheless, it's putting us in a direction of where we need things to be.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that for a second. You worked in the sound business for a while, I know, and for the longest time, I remember you coming over with microphones to my house and recording 20-some thousand sounds. And what does that process look like to take all of that work and be able to market it for people? Because now, once we have this blockchain process set up, all these individuals can go from shooting and editing their pictures right to the blockchain. And now that blockchain is in the center of everybody's focus, how many eyes and how many people are going to be able to reach out and pull it off and pay you for the work that you've done? And what does that look like from where you came from?
Well, that's a huge, interesting aspect too. And we also look at remember the monkey photographer? The photographer that basically took his camera into a zoo. The monkey grabbed the camera, stamped a photo of itself, right? And it became like the best animal selfie ever taken. It's an amazing. I swear to God, Google that too. This channel's called Google It. So it is a great picture of this monkey. But when it came down to who owned the rights of the photo, to me, it's a no-brainer. You have to have a professional photographer there with the gear and knows how to set it up, because the monkey doesn't know that kind of stuff. The monkey didn't set the exposure. He didn't set the f-stop, the shutter speed, the ISO. Okay, it's asinine to think that monkey is the photographer or owns that footage because he personally clicked the button. However, when it came down to the court of law and the judicial system and all of the bananas that we go through, jumping through hoops in this crazy stuff, the photo ended up belonging to the monkey. Okay, and then once it went online, the photo belonged to the internet. See, any photo, even if on Google, even if it says subject to be copywritten, when it's online, it belongs to the internet. So you take a photograph of somebody, you put it on your Facebook, you put it on your Instagram. We've seen this. You know, a couple years ago, we had seen a very famous photographer take pictures of some Suicide Girls models, Instagram page, put them up in his own gallery in New York and charged $90,000 for photo and sold every single one of them. Now, these girls could not have taken their own photo, blown them up for $90,000 and sold them, okay? They obviously don't have the name to do that, but nonetheless, what is owned by whom when it's on the internet? And the blockchain, long story coming full circle here, the blockchain is kind of resolving some of those issues that we have been dealing with of ownership.
That's right. And that comes along with a little bit of good news and a little bit of bad news. A little bit of the bad news is, specifically for Kodak Coin, is if you guys want to get involved in this ICO, even though it says it's available in the US, like most ICOs are not, but you have to be an accredited investor. And if you don't know what an accredited investor is, I'm sorry to say you probably aren't one, just like myself. I hope to be there one day, but not quite yet. You really need to have a net value worth of over $1 million, or make $250,000 a year for several years. So unfortunately, that option is not really going to be allowed for, not yet, but it's coming sooner or later, I'm sure. But there are some choices with the blockchain that we are going to have some options with. And the next one I'm going to talk about here is Veridictum.
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 Lay it on us.
That's right. So this ICO just happened and actually sold out probably about 30 days ago, and I think it's sold out in about 3 days. So this one had no time, coming right off the shelf, and we hope to see it on exchanges probably in another 30 to 60 days or so, just depending on how it goes. And once this becomes available to the public on the exchanges, we'll definitely be talking about that, and hopefully we can get our hands on some of those too. Just like Kodak Coin, it revolves around anti-piracy and putting media on the blockchain. So it's a very, very similar aspect. And what's going to be interesting is seeing how it matches up to Kodak Coin. We have this huge, gigantic business that we have. And in my opinion, a lot of those ones that have been around for so long move at a snail's pace.
Kodak's a dinosaur. So, they've been in the game for a very long time.
That's right. And a lot of times you get that kind of generational gap where people are set in their old ways and really have a hard time changing things up and doing things a little different, to where you have these new and upcoming groups where some of their developers are half our age and can program the galaxy at a whim's notice. I mean, it's really going that way. But so just another option that we're going to have in terms of anti-privacy and being able to see how those smart contracts play out in the media world is going to be really interesting.
That's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
So a lot of stuff going on today. So again, tonight, this new moon at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right, 9 p.m. New moon. Look up at the sky. You're not going to see anything because you're not going to see the moon because it's not there. All right, but make a wish. All right, make a projection. Okay, what in my life what have I been neglecting? What in my life do I need to focus on? What fire do I need to reignite? Okay, what passions do I need to bring back in here? If love and money is on the mind, you're going to be okay. All right, you're going to be all right because it's going to be a good year. Just
I love money, so
me.
I think I'm going to be just fine.
I think we will be too. And now it is time for the True Wisdom card of the day.
Let's have it.
Here we go. True Wisdom. I got a couple buddies that make these cards. It's a deck of playing cards that they've modified, and they put a bunch of quotes on there. The quote of the day is, go ahead.
Oh, I get to do it. You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen, simply wait. Be quiet, still, and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet.
That's more like it's like a paragraph.
Yeah, that was.
Nonetheless, that's a good quote.
I like it.
Thank you so much.
A few words of wisdom for the day for you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We also have social media up. We got our social media going on. We got Cryptocosm Instagram. We've got a Twitter.
We got the Facebook rolling.
We got a Facebook.
All great things. We're going to be rolling out more and more content to you guys just as we get up and rolling here more and more. We can't wait for everything to come. Thanks for joining us here on
Cryptocosm. We'll see you next time.